up, YouTube? Topaz Ace back for another review, and this one is to that Trina featuring Nicki Minaj, BAPS, and I'm giving this one the red light, dude, because everything about this is rather terrible. Like, starting from the very beginning of it, as when you listen to the song, you should clearly notice that this is more of a female rendition of what Project Chick was way back in the day. And for those of you who don't know, that was a song that was done by the Hot Boys with Manny Fresh and all of that on it. And you know, when I first heard the production play, I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to remix it. Maybe they're going to make it into something different. Nah, this is them on the exact instrumental with the exact hook that the Hot Boys and all that had for this particular song. And let's look at the original. Not really a fan. Honestly, that song was really trash, and you're talking to a Hot Boy Cash Money era fan. You dig? Like, that clearly was not the best effort from the concept to the ultimate song, but clearly you can see it left a lasting impression that people are still making renditions and doing songs about it. As I said this in a bunch of videos before, like everything that Cash Money was doing way back when, before Lil Wayne got lyrical and all that stuff, this is coming back around. There was a good point in time where everybody was remaking Get Your Roll On. So by creating a female rendition of a pretty terrible song from way back when, from some individual artists that weren't the strongest, may not have been a great idea. As what they're doing with the title here is they're trying to flip the whole old movie that had Halle Berry in it that was called BAPS way back when, for anybody who remembers that, where the title of that actually meant Black American Princesses. Now they took it and they flipped it into being, but so they took it and tried to flip it into the Badass Pretty Sagittariuses, and which that was trash too, because okay, it doesn't make sense. Does it bad and pretty ultimately mean the same thing, but yet you're using it all in the same term here? Let's just keep it all the way real. That's just a stretch of a concept that these individuals just threw in there to try to find commonality amongst each other in order to prop each other up on this particular song. And here's the thing on top of that. We all know if there was no Trina, odds are there was no Nicki Minaj. Like, Trina is like the precursor to what Nicki Minaj is. But this shows us a lot of things about life. You dig? Like, life advances and gets better as we go. A lot of people always want to say, oh, if you take these individuals from the past and put them in today's game, then they'll still dominate and all that. But nah, it's like, think back to, for all my football fans and stuff out there who would know of the Purple People Eaters, which that was one of the most dominant defenses way back when. I believe it was 60s or something like that. There's a lot of footage of them online. But take them and put them in today's NFL, and you'll realize they can't compete. One, they don't have the weight on them. Two, they're not as athletic as all of these individuals are that's coming out right now. Honestly, they cannot compete in this day and age, just like Trina cannot compete in this day and age, you dig? There's a reason why only her core audience actually really cares about the music that she's dropping right now, and is somewhat exposed on this particular song, because she is so subpar of a lyricist when it comes to comparison to what Nicki Minaj is, and she's getting completely ate up on Nicki's off day right here. But let's go ahead and break down these lyrics on why she's getting ate up, starting with the best thing that she did on her verses, all three of them, where she said, okay, talk about French Montana, Tory Lanez, James Harden, saying how she curved y'all boys. No disrespect, but I curved you boys. Okay, let's analyze that for a second. For those of you who remember the original Project Chick song, that was an interpolation of what Manny Fresh did in the beginning of his verses. She took the same exact rhyme scheme and infused it with some actual people that she dated in Tory Lanez, French Montana, and all of this, you did. And that was entertaining. That's honestly a key highlight that a lot of people are pointing to, which is solid. But yet, my thing is, it kind of makes you look whack though. don't you think? Because she's talking about how she carved these dudes as far as, you know, individuals just not rocking with them no more or whatever and never giving them a chance and such like that. But yet you realize she actually dated these people. So these people honestly had to have smashed. And it is what it is, you dig? Like, you may have dumped them in all of this, but this is how relationships go. If you would have actually carved these individuals, you would never have dated them to begin with. But you know what else makes little sense? All of her bars that she's trying to spit here. Because clearly she's not a good lyricist. She doesn't have quality punchlines or anything like that. All she can talk about is just flexing on the track, talking about all these things that guys are giving her and things like that, which are clearly false. Like how she's saying she got a $500 million house around her neck. Who actually would do that? How she's saying that her and Nicki Minaj are racing yachts and all that. I don't buy that at all as far as it being truthful, and it's not really a quality bar to be had here. So what's the actual purpose of that being there? And then how she's saying about this individual named Wayne that she was dealing with, or how she got a car up off of him, that just makes her look whacker. You dig? Like, nothing of this was actually interesting as far as lyrically and as far as propping herself up. It just didn't make any quality sense. And as I alluded to, Nicki Minaj isn't having her finest time dropping bars on this as well, but quite easily is dominating the track here. Talk about how she's carving dudes like a rainbow, how she's playing with some dudes' balls because ball is life, how she's saying that her chicks are so bad that all of these dudes out here is cuffing and arresting them, and she's taking that to the next level, saying that people are getting arrested and all of that, man, which I should not have to explain this to you because this is common knowledge at this point, and these are not phenomenal bars, but yet far better of an attempt than what you actually see Trina actually do. But here's the sad thing about it. As you see with it trending on Twitter and all of this, all of the people out there are running with this as though it was some kind of phenomenal statement or phenomenal song to be had here, when it isn't. Like, but here's the thing of where we're at right now in the music industry, especially as you're seeing the over-sexualized up-and-coming female MCs right now, as a bunch of them are getting heavy promotion, like the City Girls and all of that right now, you dig? Like, when you see them and break down their skill set, they're not as good either. Like, as long as you're super open sexually and then you got a little bit of cuteness to you, then people are going to take it and run with it and make you seem like you're doing something amazing. And this is just sad for the entire craft because there are some very solid female MCs that's out here that's doing their things and such, man. Like, look at 3D Nati. She is amazing. She was actually on the BET Freestyles of a BET Awards maybe a year or so ago, man. Like, she actually deserves to be in the limelight, and she can balance being sexual and being lyrical at the same time, much like Nicki Minaj can. But yet, the rest of the people honestly can't because they don't have the standard quality to be able to do such. And this ultimately messes up this art craft for years and years to come, and it really just saddens me. But this concludes the review that I got for this right here, dude. As we're going to jump into a few news stories that's been happening right now. Have you guys heard, I'm sure you have because this isn't really new, but they keep on stretching it, you did. There was a fire that happened back in 2008 at the Universal Studios Hollywood, where they just now started admitting to everything that was lost within there, as a lot of the masters of a lot of people's favorite music got lost in there. Like, the two first Roots albums masters got lost in there, some Eminem masters got lost in there, some Tupac masters got lost in there, some BB King masters got lost in there, and this is all that they're coming out saying that they lost, but I'm sure they lost so much more. But my thing is, in this day and age, the actual physical masters isn't as important because you have streaming services, you got all kinds of ways. You got plenty of people out there with CDs still of this, man. Like, they still have these actual songs and all that. It's just you no longer have the ability to go back and remaster them, to remix them, and to add new technology and stuff in it, which is ultimately sad. I mean, I remember way back when, dude, I was producing beats on my own, and I made maybe the best beat that I ever made at that time, which at that time I wasn't a very good producer, but yet I was making this beat and it was fire. And right as I'm about to save it for the first time because I'm completing it, my hard drive crashed. And that broke my spirit. I was really messed up about that for like a day or so. And then I just got back to it and started making new beats and stuff. Like, I learned at that moment the importance of backups on backups on backups. But then I got reaffirmed to that as well because later in life I made like 3 backups for multiple projects and all 3 backups failed me. So I understand the pain that you hear when Black Thought is coming out talking about the albums that they lost and everything of that nature, you dig? But these projects are already well known. They've already had their circulation out there, and you already still have the actual songs out there. So it is what it is at this point. Just hopefully they'll try to do better next time. Like, this is why there's a problem with individuals buying up all of the rights and all of the masters, and you kind of got it all underneath but certain umbrellas. Like, you'll always lose stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.